It's one of those weird terms, you know. I mean, when I first heard it, I thought, wow, this is really cool. Now when I hear it, sometimes I think, oh, couple bubble. That could mean so many different things. But what it really does mean is the idea of an ecosystem, right? You know, our couple bubble is our environment, right? It
Our
is
little biosphere.
our biosphere, exactly. And what I tell people is that this is your environment, the air you breathe, the water you drink, that ensures your sense of safety and security. So in that sense of safety and security, we protect each other and from everybody else, right? And that includes things like protecting each other in public and in private. We don't throw each other under the bus. And if we do, we apologize, we fix it, right?
Yeah, we don't make fun of something at our partner's expense.
No, we do not do that. But if either of us have done that, I mean, you've told me sometimes, you know, don't say that, that embarrassed me, or I've told you, you know, that embarrassed me. And always our reaction to each other has been, oh, I'm sorry, I won't do that again.
Yeah, and I think, you know, kind of to sum it up, what you're saying is that each couple builds their own bubble.
Yes.
They put into it what they want.
Right.
But the intention is to have this be a safe, where their safety and security needs
Right.
are met.
Yes.
And then I always have this visual of then you're able to like have this tether, right? So the ecosystem of your couple bubble, you go out and you can conquer everything in the world knowing that you have this other person
Right.
that you're with. And, you know, so therefore, you know, you've got this stretch of resources. So the topic of how are you two difficult? I know we've done an exercise on it, and it was
We're not difficult, are we?
No, I don't think so.
I'm not difficult, am I?
But as I was looking at the exercise and identifying parts of myself that are true, that I'm stubborn, that I like to be right.
No.
Yeah, I'm a Taurus. I'm stubborn. But as I was reading them, and I'm thinking, I was identifying with it, but then I realized, but I don't really do that anymore. Just because it's the shifting
Right.
of thinking about not pro-self, but pro-relationship.
Right.
And so my need to be stubborn on something just goes out the window, because when I'm like, like that, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
You know, I'm thinking in a one-person system, not a two-person system. So how can I make it good for me and good for you, and that gets over my stubbornness?
Right.
So I believe as I was looking down that list that a lot of the stuff just falls away as, you know, you get into a secure functioning relationship.
Right. I tend to think that I'm the most difficult person in this relationship. I know you probably won't disagree, but I'm probably the most difficult person. I can be very cranky, and I can be a 3-year-old. I've tested you many times. Even in the middle of fights, I will turn to you and I'll say, wow, you're really good. Yeah, it's very impressive. Yes. But also a lot of this, not only admitting, how we're a pain, right? How we're difficult, which is really important. And that's a game that's in the book. We do. But also knowing how to deal with your difficult partner. And so, you know, there are things that you do sometimes that drive me crazy. And I find them endearing, you know. I think that is my Tracey. And I've come to love those things rather than get frustrated with it. But also I know how to move you if you get stubborn. I think you've been very good at tricking me and getting me to do things, knowing how I work, which actually feels good to me. I like it.
And I don't think of it as tricking. I just think it is shifting your partner's state or whatever's going on.
Yeah.
And you've been very patient with me because I know where I'm difficult when you're driving.
I know.
So let's talk a little bit about how to create win-win situations. And I know when we've done these couples retreats that people, it's a concept that's really hard for them.
I know.
to figure out, or how to take care of myself and my partner at the same time. And when you shift your thinking, at least for me, when I've shifted my thinking to be pro-relationship,
Right.
it makes it so much easier, because I don't want to win at your expense.
Right.
And I don't want you to win at my expense.
Right.
Then we're just going to be mad.
Right.
And so it just, then you get creative on how to make it right for both people. And I can think of an example of, there was a work dinner that I needed to go to. And
Just one?
Well, there have been work dinners that I've needed to go where I've needed you to come.
Yes.
And so that's one of your least favorite things.
Yes.
You love the people I work
I
for.
love
but
the people, yes.
just don't like those formal black tie-y things. And so we sit down and we figure out how many movies I'm going to go with you,
in exchange.
In exchange,
yeah.
and neither of us complains.
Right.
And I agree to leave before dessert.
Right.
So we find ways that, I know I need to do this. I want you there to make it right for you, so you don't feel like you're just a tool. Or being
I don't feel
advantage.
like just a tool. But also, we've mastered, I think, a way to get each other to do things that one of us doesn't want to do by bargaining, by saying, how about this? How about if I do this? Something that is real and that, makes the other person's eyes light up.
Yeah.
Right? And then we might finish with the person who's getting the other person to come, but you can't complain, right? Can't complain. You got it? And then we kind of move and we do it, and there's nothing to remember. There's no resentment. There's nothing to litigate, right? Because we're moving, we have an agreement, we're both happy, we're both right side up, and then we go, right?
And I really feel like by doing it that way, that we're both happy.
Yes.
I can go to the movies and enjoy my time at the movies, because I really feel like I'm appreciating, what you did for me.
Yes. Of course, if I insist that you like the movie, that might be a bit too far, though, right? Okay.
You don't
so,
insist that.
I don't insist that.